Welcome. I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and this is another one of my Living Consciously videos. I welcome you. I am running a little bit late. I lost my screen on YouTube, so I had to redo it. But today I am going to review something that happened to me consistently in the 90s and early 2000s. And it's starting to happen again. I know that the purpose of it happening in that period of my life was to get my attention, to really embed in my consciousness that this was important, that the spirit world had a way of reaching me every single day through this type of method. So I really felt that I needed uh, to review it one more time, and because it's now happening with increasing frequency. And this is things disappearing. Sometimes they reappear, sometimes not. And the in the early 90s, one of the things that consistently disappeared for me was reading glasses. The first time that I realized or thought that I needed reading glasses was because my eyes were getting a little bit fuzzy when I was reading up close, and it seemed to me that when I put the glasses on, they would that it would clear it up. So I looked at that and hi, Michelle, welcome. And when I looked, I realized that um, I started to wear them around a chain. And then I realized my eyes were getting weaker and weaker. So I came to the realization after about 6 months of wearing reading glasses that I really did not need them. I really didn't want them. But in the meantime, I went from $20 pair of glasses. As soon as they disappeared, I was complaining to my brother, who said to me, Alice, go to the dollar store. You can pick them up for $1. And sure enough, I went, and for $5, I bought 5 pair. Lo and behold, within a couple of weeks, 5 pair of reading glasses gone, literally disappeared. So that just chagrined me. I can't tell you how upset I was, but I felt that I'm not going to allow this to wear me out, to tear me down. I am going to continue um, and bought another 5 pair. This time it took a month, all 5 pair gone. And so now I'm going a little bit berserk. And anyone who knows me knows that I have a tendency to blame my fairies for everything. And so I was really huffing and puffing about my fairies, and I kept thinking, how many fairies are out there that need reading glasses? Obviously, there must have been a lot. So anyway, the so when I bought my third pair of third group of 5, then by that time I had bought 15 pair. I noticed 1 or 2 disappeared, but slowly some of the first ones started coming back. And so as soon as I just kind of let go of my intense anger about losing these, they came back. And but unfortunately, the that didn't stop there. The fairies went on to something more expensive. They went on to my prescription glasses. I can remember going and meeting a gal for lunch in Pooksville. Uh, I'm sorry, I guess it's Pooks Hill Road in Maryland. I took my glasses off my head, threw them on the front seat, and when I came back from lunch, no glasses. So, I mean, I literally did not leave that parking lot until I thoroughly examined that whole front seat to make sure they hadn't slipped anywhere. But by now, I was kind of used to this kind of prankish behavior from my fairies. So I let it go and decided, all right, well, I guess that's going to just happen. And so I had to drive home without a pair of glasses on, which I really do need for distance. I'm not happy at all driving without glasses. Well, the next thing that happened was that I was in Wisconsin. I was at my sister's house and I'm putting lipstick on my face in the little rear view mirror that is available in the visor. And somehow or other, the lipstick slipped out of my hands in midair. It disappeared. And when I tell my sister this, she goes, "Alice, you got to. It's there. We're gonna find it." So anyway, she stops I should say when she stops the car. We're at her house now. When she stops the car, she takes her flashlight and looks in every crevice of that front seat. No lipstick to be found. But the story doesn't end there. About a year and a half later, could have been 6 months, but it feels to me like it was about a year and a half because this was also in the early 2000s. She calls me up and she said, "Alice, I've got your lipstick." It just rolled out into the middle of where uh, the floor protector is. So even though we couldn't find it, it reappeared. And the last story I wanted to share with you from that time period was my son David. He was a senior in high school. He had a part time job at the Silver Diner, and all of a sudden, he's lost his keys. Can't find his keys. He said, "Mom, I know they're here. I haven't been home that long." He had come from school, threw the keys down, didn't remember exactly where, but he knew he threw them down. And now he's looking for them, can't find them. I'm sitting at the kitchen table having uh, a snack, just sitting there reading, doing something. Pick up a piece of the Washington Post that has kind of formed a tent over the portion of the table. No keys. He looks around, runs around for a couple more minutes, and I finally said, "Just take the extra set. Hopefully they'll show up." He walks out the door with the extra set. I look in as I'm reading whatever I was reading, probably a portion of the newspaper, but the newspaper that had formed a tent over the kind of in front of me, I actually watch out of the corner of my eye as keys materialize out of thin air. I pick up the paper and I'm astonished. And I say to my husband, Bob, I said, "Bob, look at this. Here's the keys." And he said, "Oh, they must have been there all along." Oh, ye of little faith. There's no way you're going to convince anybody about anything if they don't want to believe in it. So anyway, but I knew what was going on. I've got probably about 25 other stories, but these are the ones that have made the biggest impression in my mind. And so recently, the same things are happening. Recently, it is but the sad thing for me is at this point, I have lost 2 pair of prescription glasses. I lost one about a week ago. I had them on my head when I was, outside planting flowers because the sun was pretty bright and the uh, weather was lovely. And my prescription glasses are also the photosensitive, so that they turn into sunglasses. So that was the reason I had them on. Then I walked back into the house. I typically will put them in one of three places. I'll put them on the kitchen table, I'll put them at the top of the bar, I'll put them on the kitchen counter. Those are the three things that are the closest to me when I walk in the door. Next day, when I go to look for the glasses, they're not there. Now I'm down to two pair of glasses because one, I had four pair, started out with four pair, one disappeared almost a year ago. So, and I don't even know that. I can't remember the circumstances of that. But this one, I know I had them on my head. I know I walked in the door, took them off, laid them down. I know that. And, but couldn't retrieve them. The second bit is really strange. I took an avocado for breakfast. This was just a few days ago, about 4 days ago. Took an avocado for breakfast, was scooping it out, and in the process of scooping it out, it slipped out of my hands. I heard the thud of the avocado falling to the ground, but I looked on the ground, no avocado. I looked in my robe to see if there was an avocado there, no avocado. But yet I heard the thud of the avocado. And it's like, I know that this is absolutely weird. But again, the last thing happened last night. I met a friend for dinner after I worked at Sacred Circle to do readings, and after I do not recall that I had my glasses on my head, but I might have because it still was sunny and because it was just like 5:30 at night. And so typically I would have put them on to walk to the car. This time I'm walking over to the restaurant and meet her. And when I get back to the car, no glasses. I called the restaurant, no glasses. I called the shop. They called me back around noon today and said no glasses are upstairs. So they too have disappeared. Now, the only other person of in recent times, and it's not even that recent, that talked about the same type of event occurring was Shirley MacLaine in her book Out on a Limb. There's two stories I can remember from her book. She says that she was at a store, a little boutique, shopping. She's the only one in the store, one or two clerks standing at the counter, and away from her, put her purse down on the floor as she was looking over the items, went back to retrieve her purse, no purse. She knew nobody had been around her. She knew that the clerks hadn't, approached her. Uh, Small store. She's the only one in the store. So she confronts her guides afterwards. And in meditation, she confronts them. And she says, "Was that you who took my purse?" And they said, "Yes." And then she goes, "Why did you do it? You did nothing but frustrate me." And their answer was, "Because we can." So I'm presuming the same thing is happening to me. I always blame my fairies for everything rather than my guides. I somehow or other feel my guides are more benevolent, but my fairies are mischievous. So I will go and credit my fairies with everything that disappears in my life. But the last thing that Shirley MacLaine said that I want to share with you is that she was in her house, and I believe she lives in Santa Fe, New Mexico, or it's either Santa Fe or Taos, but I think it's Santa Fe. So there's not much rain that falls there, and when it does fall, it tends to fall rapidly, and um, but then it goes. It doesn't come and go. She said that she decided she was gonna go for a walk. As soon as she opened the front door, or even maybe a second before she opened the front door, this deluge came down. So she would shut the front door, and she'd go in and then look outside the window. It'd be sunny and bright and no clouds. So she said, "Oh, I'll go for a walk." She did this about 4 times. The second she opens the door, a deluge comes down. So obviously she's not going to go out in a deluge. And so I think this happens 4 or 5 times until it discourages her. So she stays inside the house. But I haven't had that happen to me. But I absolutely can guarantee you that when it is raining, I will talk to the nature spirits of water, the undines, and I will tell them, whether I have an umbrella with me or not, that I'm going to be at my destination in 5 minutes. And I would very much appreciate for them to stop the rain so that I don't have to trek through a deluge, whether I have an umbrella or not. And it never seems to fail me that it can be just raining deliriously from as I'm driving along, just pelting. The water's just pelting down. I get to my destination, stop the car, get out. It's barely a drizzle. And actually that happens just, maybe within a minute or two of me stopping the car, sometimes 5 minutes even of me stopping the car. And it's like they hear me and they respond to me immediately because I give them about 5 minutes warning. And then I can go into the store. And sometimes I notice if there's windows in the store that, oh my God, the deluge has come back and it's pouring like crazy. But again, before I'm ready to walk back to my car, I say the same thing. I would very much appreciate you stopping the rain. Um, and it stops. So, this is part of you living consciously, of you understanding that you are one with everything else. And I know that we are having a really rough time in the world right now with the war in Ukraine. And I know that karmically, there has to be a reason why these people, this lovely democracy, new democracy, um, is paying such a dear price of all the shattering of all their buildings and shattering of all the lives that have been lost. So I have to trust God that there is a good reason for them to be experiencing exactly what they're experiencing. But I feel my role can be to send love, to send light, to send enlightenment, and to ask for karmic balance for what is happening out there. And I include Putin in all my prayers and meditations because I figure he has got to get more light um, sent to him in order to change his modus operandi. Uh, we've been, I think, told over and over and over that dictators absolutely do not want their will thwarted. So there's nothing that's going to happen to change his mind except winning on his terms. And but the resistance that the Ukrainians are putting up is incredibly admirable. And the courage that they show in what they're how they're resisting is incredible. So anyway, I bid you adieu. Um, just have I'm very, very pleased to be here. Unfortunately, I'll be out of town for the next 2 Fridays. In one case, I'll be in New York. In another Friday, I'll be in I'm sorry, Nashville, Tennessee. Two very happy occasions. One to celebrate my daughter's birthday and my birthday and Mother's Day. So it'll be New York, Pennsylvania. And then Nashville will be the wedding shower of the fiance of my godson. So I bid you adieu. I hope that you have a great 2 weeks. And I will see you on the third Friday in May. Take care. Love you dearly. And am grateful to be here. Thank you.